I mean, this is crazy town USA, but Brenton, you can tell us if this is normal. The line opened at 49ers minus 2.5. It's down to 1.5 already, 30, 45 minutes after the final whistle of the late game there.
Crazy is I told Debo, just put it in Slack. I had just somehow just hadn't looked because we started on the podcast right away after the games ended. And I definitely would have said that the Chiefs would be favored. Now, having said that, because I think I'll probably pick the Chiefs to win just because of how, I mean, it feels like the 49ers are favored again. The Chiefs have somehow been able to play no one believes in us. Like since last
we just said that no one picked them to beat the Ravens.
I know, but I mean, remember Travis Kelce called people jabronis. So no one believes in us, and it's like, all right, you've been to 6 straight AFC Championship games, but everyone believes in you and is scared of you. You've been to 4 out of the last 5 Super Bowls.
Who'd you pick to win the Ravens game?
Ravens.
Well, that's what he read.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe so. But so I think I would have guessed that the Chiefs were favored. I'll tell you what, I think that the Lions in Las Vegas would have been insane from a fan standpoint and sort of a, like man on the street, like the stuff you're seeing out and about in Las Vegas situation. And these two teams have been to Super Bowls in recent years. Obviously, we saw them in Miami right before the pandemic with the Hornet Sting player, whatever it was, Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs beat Jimmy G. But 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl since 94, I don't think. The Chiefs are trying to pile them up while Mahomes is there. And quite frankly, this should do monster numbers from a ratings perspective. And I would say, Wilson, that it reminds me a little of Seattle Patriots Super Bowl 49, where the line was 1 or 1.5. I could see this be Chiefs being favored for a little bit, then coming back, ending as a pick. And you have this, Seahawks team that's sort of a budding NFC West dynasty type of, great defense, young quarterback. We're not surprised that they're back there. Everyone thought they were prohibitive favorites to make it out of the NFC against the team from the AFC that's just been there every year for the last few years. And it's like the 49ers are probably the better team, but the Chiefs have Mahomes, just like Seahawks are probably the better team, but the Patriots had Brady. And so I think that's kind of an interesting aspect to it. Although it does ruin I think Chiefs Lions would have been the number one option.
Rick Sherman would have liked that, no doubt about it. Hey,
I'm just thinking from a CBS broadcast perspective.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a great story. I think a lot of people I was pulling for the Lions because it's a fun story. Hey, let me ask you this, Breach, because this feels like a reversal of what we just saw, but the teams probably played a little differently. The last time these teams met in Super Bowl 54, San Francisco led 21-10 entering the fourth quarter. Then Kansas City pulled a 49ers 21-0 in the fourth quarter, and it was Kansas City's first win since '69, and they've gone on to go to Super Bowls since then. But what are the big storylines for you coming into this game? Because I don't think that last game is going to have any bearing. A lot of the faces have changed on the San Francisco side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's going to be a big part is Brock Purdy versus Patrick Mahomes. You have the quarterbacks. You have Brock Purdy, who I feel like the first half of this game, it was like, what is this guy doing? He's just going to choke in every playoff. And then second half, the offense is clicking. They look good. And a big part of it is because he's running, he's throwing it. He looks accurate, made some great throws. And it was the same thing in the Packers game where it was like, how this guy is being totally outplayed by Jordan Love for 3 quarters. And then turns on the fourth quarter and has a game-winning drive. So you have the last pick in the draft against Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't seem fair, but the 49ers are favored because their roster is stacked. And if you would have asked me week 15 and just give me a list of Super Bowl matchups and Chiefs 49ers was on it, I would have picked the 49ers without blinking in week 15. But ever since Christmas night against the Ravens, and then you just look at the Packers game, the Lions game, and it is just, they don't look so invincible anymore. And I feel like the Chiefs can have success defensively and offensively. So I think this is going to be an interesting battle. And like Brenton, I'm surprised that the 49ers were favored.
Let me just say this quickly. And I will be picking the Chiefs almost certainly, unless an asteroid
Same.
gets
Probably.
a part of the state, and Patrick Mahomes gets shot into the moon or something. But I just briefly will mention the Super Bowl draft update, in which we all drafted 4.
Oh God, do we have to?
And Prisco was the 4th member of it. And I forgotten. I actually lost the list. Breach sent it to me the other day.
You
I
went
had
Niners first. I went Ravens second. So Pete went.
I had
Chiefs
49ers.
third.
So I'm in. Going into today, Brinson was the only person with 2 teams, Breach. He had the Ravens and the Lions.
Unbelievable.
Took the double L. Prisco has the Chiefs, and Breach has been out for 2 weeks. So it's me versus Pete. Old man versus older man for all the marbles. So
I also had a bet I made a few weeks ago that stinks now because it may have been cleared out. No, it's still there. Lions defeat Chiefs.
Oh, Brinson, that hurts. And one thing I will say about this game, though, is that I won't be surprised if it's a huge home field advantage for the 49ers, because you are talking about a short flight. I'm looking right now. You could fly from San Francisco to Vegas the Wednesday before the Super Bowl for $35.
What?
49ers fans can just pile into Vegas. It's so geographically close. It's the Bay Area. You have the tech money. Those people, you can afford Super Bowl tickets. And
you're not taking a $35 flight if you have tech money, Breach.
Well, that's true. Well, I mean, unless all the flights
also
private jet.
Let's not forget that we've seen this because we've covered a bunch of these Patriot Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But you have, not that you get fatigue, but at a certain point,
it costs a lot to go to the Super Bowl every year.
You're like, I'm not spending $6,000 a year to go to the Super Bowl. It's really expensive. And the Niners were there 4 years ago, but the Niners don't have a win in 30 years.
Right.
So like being there for the 49ers to win, like Katie Mox and I were talking about this. She's like, if the Niners get in, I'm, because like some of us are flying out early before the game, and I think she was in that group. She's like, I'm going to find a way to go to this game.
What Tebow did last year.
Yeah, right. Tebow got to sit there and watch the Eagles lose the Super Bowl to the Chiefs.
Well, and to be clear, because
Breach did that too with the Rams and the Bengals.
Yeah, so let's go in reverse chronological order, or just chronological order. Debo, was it worth it in retrospect?
No.
Breach, was it worth it?
Yes, 100%, 1,000%.
At least Debo didn't do a
Debo had a Super Bowl from 4 years prior, though.
That's true. That's very true. By the way, Patrick Mahomes won't say this out loud, but Kansas City Chiefs fans, if you want to stay home and watch the game from the comfort of your own home, you don't like the hedonistic nature that Las Vegas might provide, just know this. Patrick Mahomes at Allegiant Stadium, he is 4-0, 313 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Good.
Bring
That's
it on,
a
boys.
really good point. I hadn't thought about that, Wilson. And I mean, I think that does matter. Like there's a lot of familiarity with playing in that stadium and sort of the nuances that go with it. That's a big deal, I think.
There you go.
Maybe for next Monday's podcast, when we rank the top 58 storylines of Super Bowl 58, we can discuss that.
When Brent and I do that individually, you do 56 of them, I do 2 of them. But
this
is Brenton mentioned the Patriots. You mentioned the Patriots. Chiefs are going to their 4th Super Bowl in 5 years, just the 3rd team in NFL history to pull that off. Patriots, as Brenton mentioned, did that. And so did the Buffalo Bills, but they lost them all, unlike the Patriots and Chiefs. So that's it. It's a really short list of teams that go to the Super Bowl this often. And maybe that's why. I do think Chiefs fans are crazy. Chiefs fans are great. They will show up. I'm just saying that Vegas is a lot closer to San Francisco, and it's a lot more manageable trip when you're coming from the Bay Area.
All right, little trivia here. If you've cheated, then we'll move on. But Patrick Mahomes can become the 5th quarterback to win 3 Super Bowls. Who are the other 4?
To win exactly 3 or at least 3?
At least 3.
Tom Brady.
Joe Montana. How many?
There are 2 more. And
Terry
Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw. There's 1 more.
Troy Aikman?
Troy Aikman. You guys are good at this. There you go.
Yes.
Andy Reid.
We were texting about it.
Andy Reid, 5th Super Bowl appearance, ties Tom Landry for 3rd most by head coach. And he can become the 5th head coach to win 3, along with Bill Belichick, Chuck Noll, Joe Gibbs, and Bill Walsh. Man.
I will say, too, that, and I mean, I'm not like, I don't really feel like this tooting my own horn or anything.
That's not like you. Go ahead.
Right, exactly. Because also it's like, guy is Patrick Mahomes, whatever. But it does feel like. So I said this after the first Chiefs Super Bowl. It just reminded me of Phil Mickelson winning his first major, and how. No, I mean, like, Andy Reid won the first one. There's no longer the pressure of being the guy who didn't have, like, the greatest coach who didn't have a Super Bowl, and like, would he retire without a Super Bowl? And now he's got another 10 years of Patrick Mahomes. I don't think it's crazy at all if Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes retire, and they have put both Bill Belichick and Tom Brady into second place firmly into second place, the same way that Brady and Belichick did it to Bill Walsh. Maybe Bill Walsh, but it did it to Joe Montana for sure, in terms of like saying like these guys are the greatest of all time. And you go and win this one. What would that be? 3 and 5 years? It'd be a very similar start to the Patriots.
Yep.
Hey, let me ask you this, Breach. And this is something that our buddy Joe Musso brought up when he was on HQ earlier. If they win this one, any pushback from dynasty conversations for the Chiefs?
No, I mean, they are, even if they didn't make it, you make it to 6 straight AFC title games, you're in the dynasty conversation. Okay. And when you win those and you're getting to the Super Bowls also, then yes, you are dynasty. And I feel like for NFL fans, it's got to be so weird because it's so hard to continuously win in this league, especially in the salary cap era, and to go straight from the Patriots dynasty to this Chiefs dynasty is shocking. It's really crazy to have this happen. Mm-hmm. And shout out real quick to Jared Dubin, who we do our preseason Super Bowl picks. We turn them in August.
What'd he say?
You talked about the draft that we do. So the Super Bowl draft, and me and Brinson are out. So just to rub all our noses in this, Brinson, your Super Bowl pick, you know what it was. You got half of it right. You got Bills 49ers. Wilson's was Chargers.
Hold on. I think one of the teams had a losing record and fired their coach midway through the season. Is that correct?
Yes.
The Chargers and who else?
Chargers, Eagles.
Oh God, even worse.
Mine
fired
was
both their coordinators. Okay, go ahead.
Mine was Bengals, Cowboys.
Better.
And Dubin's was Chiefs 49ers. So he nailed it.
Very nice.
Wow.
By the way, Peter Schrager of Good Morning Football, I think friend of the pod, has predicted the Super Bowl winner correctly for 5 straight years. And he had, I think, Chiefs over 49ers.
When did he make the prediction? Before the season?
Yeah.
That is nuts.
He had the Rams winning it. He had the Chiefs winning it last year. And like, there's, if he gets this one, maybe it's either 4 and he's going on 5, or I can't remember what it is. But I mean, look, here's the thing.
It's called He's Smart. You and I try to talk ourselves into the Lions or some team coming out of nowhere.
He's also picked the Chiefs a bunch. It's just
right. That's what I'm saying. That's what a smart person would do.
Yeah.
That's the Sean Wagner McGuff.
Yeah, it really is. Shout out Sean.
Right, Prisco would always be like, it's the Patriots over the Packers. It's like, you pick that every year, you clown.
Well, you get it right. All right, listen, before we get out of here, Brinson mentioned the line's 1.5, over-under's 47.5. What is your lean as they call it Sharps Breach? When the Sharps say that, what's your lean?
Well, I would say that 47.5 number is really high for a Super Bowl. Even with these two offenses, I think these two defenses are good enough that you will see that number tick down a little bit. I'll say 46 is what it closes out. So I would lean towards the under. And I also think, again, that reminds me of Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl 49 out in the desert. I think we see this close a pick 'em. There is no way in hell you will see this line I don't think you'll see it get to 2, barring like major injuries. You will never see it get to 3 either way. I think it closes a pick 'em. I think it ends up drifting back towards the Chiefs. So if I were right now, I would lean towards Chiefs in the under anyway. And I think that's where the line moves.
The one thing about the under real quick is that the 3 Super Bowls the Chiefs have played with Patrick Mahomes, the winning team every time has scored at least 31 points.
Wowzers. That's a lot of points. Good little nugget there, Breach. Do you have an early lean, Breach, or do you want to do a kicking prop?
Nah, I'm leaning with Brinson here, except I would go over. I think I would lean Chiefs right now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a recurring theme.
Oh, look at
that. Who are those guys?
So if you're listening to the audio version, Debo just flashed a graphic that will certainly keep you up at night. Pick 6 Live from Vegas, CBS Sports HQ. We'll be doing shows every single night, starting with Monday at the little, what's that called, to get together with the teams?
Powwow.
No, what's the
media night.
media night?
By the way, we're just real.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. We're going to be there at media night. We'll be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Brinson will be doing some podcasts with Katie Mox, doing some gambling stuff as well. Be sure to check that out. Go ahead, Brinson.
I see a 48 out there, so maybe tick up a little bit in terms of the odds. But Chiefs already catching -115 on the juice at +1.5. So would feel like maybe that move feels good. Maybe we see the over tick up a little bit. So there you go.
All right,
And I bought a fancy new sports coat. I can't wait to show it off.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
It's so much fun.
And by the way,
Yeah.
full early Super Bowl odds show is going to be tomorrow, Monday at 2 p.m. And by the way, if you don't have a dog in this fight, and by that I mean all your favorite team is out, you're officially in the off-season breach. I'll be at the Senior Bowl this week. So if you want to check out the old With the First Pick podcast, me and Rick Spielman will be doing some shows from there. And then the following week, we'll all three be together in Las Vegas. What's the over-under on how many of us get arrested?
1.5.
1.5 is the
100%. I think I would put it at a half.
Well, no, if it's a half, everyone's slamming the under. I mean the over.
I was gonna say, if you're slamming the under, you're whatever what's the opposite for
well,
sharp?
I think that it's not so much over under on arrested, but maybe over under on how many of us have shenanigans related stories that come out of the Super Bowl. Because I think one is a pretty safe bet. I'm not sure who that would be.